Why most people nowadays are broke. According to Statista, in 2021, about 37.93 million people were living below the poverty line in the United States. In the wealthiest nation, 250 million people live in severe poverty. I'm not referring to those receiving food stamps or unemployed individuals. Instead, I'm referring to those making between $48,000 and $68,000 per year on average. Think about the fact that about 75% of Americans struggle to make ends meet. Why are so many people broke nowadays? Watch this video to answer that question. I am Caden with expertise in self-development and finance. In my channel, I will tell you different ways to invest money and become a better version of yourself. When do you consider anyone to be broke? The lowest levels of individual finance are bankruptcy, broke, and debt. The adjective broke describes someone who has entirely run out of money. In terms of personal finances, it refers to clearing your accounts of all funds. Most of the time, when someone is tight on money, they also have debt. Anyone can become bankrupt, whether they are wealthy or in the working class. A wealthy person might interpret it as a sign that their business failed and they have no liquid assets to sell to earn money. For the average person, it would signify that they spent all their money and had nothing left. But being broke means having no money. If you declare bankruptcy, you must ask the court for protection, negotiate with your debt collectors, and no longer be able to pay your bills. When you have a lot of debt, you must pay it off every month with nothing left over. But being broke means having no money. Every move you make with your money must begin with financial goals. In other words, by establishing financial goals, you are providing direction for your financial choices in the future. They provide you with a sense of dream and economic security. Your financial life will also need them to have accountability. For instance, if you plan to save $10,000 this year, you must evaluate every purchase you make between now and then in light of whether it will assist or hinder your savings goals. A simple inquiry like that can make the distinction between impulsive purchasing and a careful lifestyle. I suggest that simple questions determine the divide between success and failure. Why are so many people in debt? Here are some of the reasons why so many people are in debt. They have no financial objectives. Without objectives and a plan, all of your money will be spent carelessly. You must have financial goals to save and invest money and still have money left over after spending. Establishing your financial goals will help you make decisions and behave in a way that is consistent with your goals. They don't have emergency savings. You won't ever be in need if you save aside 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, since you will always have that money in your savings account. You won't ever be in debt if you start with 1 week, then move up to a month, and concentrate on saving as much as possible. They don't employ a budget to control their expenses. If your salary is sufficient to cover your expenses, having the discipline to set your financial priorities before each month begins will solve your money problems. To avoid going broke, you must establish a spending strategy. There are numerous apparent causes and ones that most people overlook. The top 5 causes of financial hardship are the following. Accepting reality as it is. Sometimes we feel so overwhelmed that we give up. It starts to resemble waiting for a miracle, which never materializes. Most of the time, things get worse because other people have their own lives. Life has taught us that we should never rely on others to solve our issues. Waiting is insufficient by itself. Even the treatment for addictions begins with the admission that a problem exists. Face your current work condition head on. Focus on earning money rather than conserving it. Be willing to work whatever job for however long it takes to make things better, and make it your duty, obligation, and responsibility to get your financial life in order. Financial ignorance. The majority of individuals need more economic literacy. College students frequently require more than a rudimentary understanding of financial concepts. The economy is referred to as resource management or home management. To manage is to be in control and to succeed in living, even when the odds are pretty high. To run your economy, you must generate income by being aggressive in the market. Issues with entitlement. People lack money because they refuse to perform tasks that no one else wants to do. The entitlement issue affects everyone, not just those at lower socioeconomic levels. Guess what? Everyone aspires to be a director, CEO, manager, or writer. Someone must do the selling. Most people grumble about the 9-to-5 schedules. But I work 40 hours a week. You won't advance if you don't work. And consider how to do so before, during, and after the workday. I have never met a wealthy person who hasn't constantly been giving it their all. You have to be honest if your financial condition stinks. Admitting you have a problem is the first step in any makeover or recovery. And the second step is to stop blaming others, counting on others to heal it, and attempting to make sense of it. Indifference towards money. An essential thing isn't money. You won't be content with it. However, neither of those realities excuses you from needing money to support your family and live the life you want. People have stopped caring about their finances and have grown apathetic toward them. If you don't care about money, you can't have any. Accept your financial situation and begin to keep an eye on your finances. The opposite of what happens when you act as though there is no issue is that the problem worsens. No matter our financial circumstances, my wife and I meet weekly to discuss money. People merely need to be aware of this situation and comprehend that society encourages consumption, further borrowing, and debt tolerance. Even just having this knowledge significantly impacts how you think about money. Some people borrowed more than 50,000 pounds to spend on handbags, shoes, and clothing. Conditioning by society. Debt fuels the world in which we currently reside. Most nations have both a debt and a deficit, which means that in addition to having a lot of money, they also spend more than they take in. So, should we follow the government's financial advice? Not at all, in my opinion. It is better for the economy if more individuals can spend, even if that means taking on debt to do so. Have you noticed how borrowing money is made simple by society? Banks continued to issue loans and credit cards that some people could not afford, which was a significant factor in the 2008 financial crisis. It will only work if you make $3,000 a month and spend $2,000 a month. While most individuals are aware of this, they do not consider the possibility that they might be acting similarly. Budgeting is a straightforward method to avoid debt. Respondents often claim that they spend less money than they earn. But when income and expenses are compared, over 90% of people are shocked by the results. No matter how skilled you are at math, you shouldn't manage your personal money by doing it in your head. Copying the lifestyle of others. It's only possible to avoid competition by being aware of it. How many neighbors buy a new automobile when another neighbor does the same? Or how many people did you know who got a pet because someone they knew got one? Most people cannot afford the items, which is okay for those who can buy them. We enjoy living affluent lives. Here are some things people could do to start improving their financial situation. Admitting there is an issue is the first step. Only attempt to solve a problem if you actually see one, since your level of devotion will be inadequate. The next step is budgeting. Record the income and subtract it from the expenses for each month. It's a good start if you have money left over, since you can save it or utilize it to pay down your debts. 2 actions are required if your spending exceeds your income. Start by raising your income. Get a side gig. Sell on Shiprock or the Facebook market. Land a second job or get promoted. To temporarily improve your circumstances, you can do this. Second, you must ensure that all wants are eliminated from your spending and that only needs are met. In the Financial Freedom Manuscript, we demonstrate how to achieve this and other things, even when it is evident to the rest of the world that something is not a priority. You would be surprised at what some people prioritize when they're broke. For instance, if I were poor and determined to change, I would shop at Aldi rather than M&S or Harrods in the UK. Cancel my gym membership since I prefer to run for free in the park, and make lunch at home rather than shell out 10 pounds a day for coffee and sandwiches at work. In particular, if taking the bus is less expensive than paying for gas, servicing, an MOT, taxes, insurance, or a car loan, I would sell any automobile that I couldn't afford. These straightforward changes could improve things for more than 50% of broke people. Start investing. Save as much as possible for a purchase you wish to make so that you can pay with cash. If you are borrowing to purchase something, accept a mortgage to buy a home, you cannot afford it. It's difficult to hear, but that is the right mentality to adopt. You get to retain some of what you make. At least 10% of your salary should go into savings. Additionally, some behaviors, such as compulsive shopping and seeking rapid pleasure, support this. Even if we regret it a few days later, we want something, and we want it now. Concerning autos and cell phones, I was the same. But take note that I said desire rather than need. To save money, avoid purchasing items that are wanted if you're trying to get out of debt. That's all for this video. What do you think is the reason most people are living below the poverty line? Don't forget to tell us in the comments.